Hey, what up, World History? This is Mr. View, and I am back for our discussion about World War One. Right? Yesterday, we talked a little bit about the reasons for World War One, and there were five that I discussed. Nationalism, which is extreme pride in your country. My country's better than yours. Bam! I'll show you. Imperialism, which is when one country controls another country from afar, right? Like colonies and things. And people were competing for these colonies. So I drew up me fighting DeCoster for a little chump withers over there. So we were competing for that. That causes conflict. Militarism is building up your military and glorifying the military, right? An arms race would happen. And when you tax your citizens a lot for these planes or tanks or guns or whatever, you have to use them. You can't just sit in a storage facility because you're taxing people and they want to make sure their tax money isn't just wasted, right? So militarism, alliances, instead of a one-on-one fight, you have alliances, and all of a sudden it's two or three or four countries against each other, and they might not even have anything to do with the conflict, but they got to back up their buddy. So alliances. And then the last thing I did is I went over the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand from Austria-Hungary. He went over to Bosnia, and the he was shot by an assassin from the Black Hand, a guy named Gavrilo Princip, who was only 19 years old, but he shot the Archduke and his wife and killed them, and that causes Austria-Hungary to be upset, right, with Bosnia, who they're controlling at the moment, but not for long, right? So World War One is about to occur. The year is 1914, and Austria-Hungary is upset, right? They're mad. Their Archduke went over there and they got killed, and they're like, ha, something's got to happen. You guys got to pay for this, right? If our president's kid went over to a different country and was shot and killed, we would definitely want somebody to pay for that. So Austria-Hungary issues an ultimatum. An ultimatum is a final set of demands. It's do this or else. Clean your room or else you're grounded. Be home by 11 or you're grounded, right? So an ultimatum. Austria-Hungary says, hey, Bosnia, all you got to do is meet these demands, right? Do this stuff and we won't beat you up. Number one, stop the aggression. No more killing our people. No more right? Don't be killing us anymore. Number two, punish those people who were involved in the assassination. All these members of this Black Hand, Gavrilo Princip's buddies, they need to go to jail or be killed, right? You got to punish those people involved. And number three, let us help with the investigation. Right? We don't trust that you're going to find all the bad guys, so we want to help. All of these seem okay, right? The United States, we would definitely want them to stop their aggression towards us. We want to punish everybody involved, and we want to help with the investigation. So all those seem reasonable to me. Bosnia says, no, we are not going to do that. They agreed to some of the terms, not all of them, and Austria-Hungary says, that's not going to work for us. War. And so they declared war on Bosnia. And Bosnia, they're this little chump, right? This is the itty bitty country. But they're standing up for a reason because they've got an alliance. They've got an alliance with Russia, and Russia is big. They're slow and dumb, but they're big, and there's a lot of them. So Bosnia has Big Brother with their back. However, Austria-Hungary isn't alone either, right? So they know that they've got Germany in their back pocket. So they're not that afraid of Russia. Countries either mobilize or declare neutrality. Mobilize means you prepare for war. So they throw their army guys into barracks and they start training them and they start the war machine going to produce war materials, guns, and things like that. And so they mobilize, they get ready for war. Others say, no, we're going to stay out of this. We're neutral, right? We'll watch this fight. We'll be spectating from over here, but we're not going to take part in the war. The United States declared neutrality. We decided, hey, we're going to sit this one out. Austria-Hungary, they have an alliance with Germany. So instead of this one-on-one fight, Austria-Hungary versus Bosnia, now it's Austria-Hungary and Germany versus Bosnia. Oh, but Bosnia, as I said, had an alliance. They have Russia, so bam, now it's 2 versus 2. And not only that, but Russia had an alliance with France. Bam! So now it's 3 versus 2. And it doesn't matter that it's 3 and 2. Numbers mean more than anything, right? You can have very small countries piling up, but If there's one huge country over here, it doesn't really matter. But anyway, there's two countries on one side, three on another. Germany, kind of in the middle of this mess, right? They're here, and they're a very strong country at this point. They're one of the toughest, best countries, you would say, right? And they're in the middle, and they've got this idea. It's called the Schlieffen Plan. And the Schlieffen Plan is, let's fight a one-sided war, not a two-sided war, right? We got a guy over here we need to fight, and a guy over here we need to fight. France and Russia. And we got to fight both of them. But let's not fight them at the same time. Let's knock out one and then attack the other, right? Smart move, right? If you're ever in a fight and you're sitting here and there's two people right here, you don't want to punch one, punch one, punch one, punch. What you want to do is you want to bam, 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 knock out the one, and then turn your attention to the chunk, right? And that's what Germany's idea was. They said, Russia's this big chunk. They're going to be slow to mobilize and get ready. So we'll knock out France real quick, bam, 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 and then we'll take care of Russia. That way we can have all of our troops over here and then all of our troops over here. Smart, right? Sounds pretty smart. However, Germany doesn't attack straight onto France. They go through Belgium. They march through Belgium. Belgium was neutral. They weren't involved in the war. But Germany marched through them. And when they did that, that brings Belgium into the war. Right? You can't just march through a country. If a country marched through Canada to get to us, we'd be upset. Right? And so with Canada's just like, hey, you're not marching through us, hey, you hosers. So they wouldn't like it either. Belgium doesn't like it. They're drawn into the war. So now they're on France, Russia's, and Bosnia's side. But Belgium also had an alliance with England. So they brought their buddy into the war too. So now it's Bosnia, Russia, France, Belgium, and England versus Austria-Hungary and Germany. So now it's a 5 versus 2 type of war. These alliances have added to the countries, right? And so Germany's Schlieffen Plan fails because it draws in Belgium and England. Also, Russia gets ready pretty quick, surprisingly, because they're, like I said, slow and dumb. But they mobilize pretty quick and they start to attack Germany. Now you've got Germany fighting that two-sided war anyway that they tried to avoid. So the war is starting, right? You've got two different sides. You've got some countries being neutral. What does that mean again, Terry? That's right. That means they're taking neither side. But if you're going to mobilize, Savannah, what does mobilize mean? Get ready for war, right? Get ready for war. So you build up your arms, guns, etc., and get ready for war. We also know that Austria-Hungary had issued an ultimatum, right, at the start of this thing. What's an ultimatum again? Yeah, final set of demands. Do this or else. And Bosnia said, no, Austria-Hungary declares war, and then all these countries start jumping in. Austria-Hungary, their alliance with Germany, Bosnia with Russia and France, and then Belgium joins because they get marched through, bringing their buddy in, England. So, bam, now we got a world war on our hands. The war to end all wars, supposedly. But no, we know World War II is coming too. But that does it for today. Have a great day. Bye.